Russia, China, the US. They're all making moves, but no one's saying the one word, World War III. Yes, it sounds extreme. Yet today, global tensions are riding higher than at any time since the Cold War. And in the next 10 minutes, we'll break down the hidden fault lines, the power plays, and ask, is the next World War already being planned behind closed doors? The world is entering a new phase of global competition. Far from the relatively stable post-Cold War years, we now see superpowers openly preparing for systemic confrontation. According to the Stockholm International Peace Research Institute, nuclear-armed states are expanding their arsenals, reversing decades of disarmament. Russia, China, and their partners are shifting from merely influencing proxies to building full-scale military capabilities and alliances, challenging the old US-led order. Meanwhile, Western nations are moving toward large-scale defense investments and coalition readiness. This isn't about a single flashpoint. It's about multiple overlapping crises: Taiwan, Ukraine, the Middle East, and even cyberspace. Each of these could act as the spark to ignite something far broader. Several theaters today carry the potential to escalate into global confrontation. Taiwan Strait. China's increasing military pressure on Taiwan, combined with US and Japanese commitments in the region, make this a leading candidate. A miscalculation here could draw in multiple powers: Middle East and Iran-Israel. The region is already volatile. Proxy wars, nuclear ambitions, and strategic oil routes all raise the stakes. A direct Israeli-Iran clash could rapidly draw in Russia, China, or the US on Ukraine and NATO. While Ukraine remains a focus, the deeper issue is NATO's role, US commitments, and Russia's willingness to push beyond current fighting zones. An expansion of this war could trigger Article 5 for NATO members. Cyber, AI, and space. Modern war is no longer just boots on the ground. Autonomous weapons, cyber attacks on civilian infrastructure, and militarized space systems raise the possibility of fast escalation and global ripple effects. Each of these zones is dangerous on its own. Put together, they form a web of risk that could drag many countries in very quickly. There are compelling reasons why analysts now believe the risk of a major global war is higher than at any time since the Cold War. 1. Modernized arsenals and nuclear readiness. The US, Russia, and China are not just holding nukes, they're upgrading them for faster, more flexible use. 2. Multiple conflict zones simultaneously active. Back in World War I and World War II, major wars started in one region and then expanded. Today, conflict zones span Europe, Asia, and the Middle East all at once. 3. Alliance fatigue and ambiguity. Traditional alliances may no longer serve as deterrents. A recent poll found 41 to 55% of Americans and Western Europeans believe World War III is likely within 5 to 10 years. 4. Economic and resource stress. Supply chain vulnerability, economic instability, and climate shocks increase pressure on governments. When states struggle internally, they tend to externalize conflict. In short, the global system is under pressure on many fronts. That increases the chance of miscalculation, unintended escalation, or all-out confrontation. Major war in the modern era might look quite different from those in the past, but no less catastrophic. Theaters of war, Pacific Islands, Eastern Europe, Middle East deserts, cyberspace, and maybe even space itself. Economic fallout, global trade disruption, supply chain collapse, inflation, and widespread recessions. Nuclear/AI risk, tactical nuclear weapons and autonomous drones raise the bar for speed, stakes, and destruction. Mass humanitarian crises, millions displaced, agricultural collapse, food and water shortages in war-impacted zones. This would be not just a war of armies. It would be a war of economies, of infrastructure, of society itself. It's not inevitable, but it is avoidable. Critical decisions today will determine whether the world slides into war or steers away. Diplomatic engagement, transparency, and arms control revival are urgent. Economic resilience and supply chain diversification reduce vulnerability. Public awareness and media literacy matter, because a shocked public leaves less room for policy error. Leaders face a choice: respond with foresight and restraint, or double down on posture and risk. The next 1 to 3 years may decide the shape of the next decade. We may not be in World War III today, but we're closer than we have been in decades. The paths diverge. One leads to transformation, the other to tragedy. Stay informed, stay alert. Subscribe to Conflict Explained for weekly deep dives on global power, global risk, and global change. Comment below which flashpoint worries you most and why.